2, 3, 4.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Power of Music Thinking. My name is Christoph Zürn, and this is the podcast for people with a musical heart and a wicked job. We're looking for stories, insights and tools from the big world of music to inspire leaders and followers to listen, tune, play and perform in whatever field you're operating. Hello everyone and Happy New Year. May it be a year of change to freedom and peace, diversity and inclusiveness, and a year where we all learn new perspectives, skills and knowledge to make our planet a better place for everyone. Before we dive into the first episode of the year and hear more about the question, are you a polymath? I have still a few things to say. If you want to find us, you can do this on musicthinking.com. There are tons of information about using musical principles for leadership, business, and society. And if you want to contribute, please buy the book, The Power of Music Thinking. It will open your mind with analogies from the big world of music that you can apply in your work. And if you can support us in that way, please subscribe to the podcast, give us a rating and comment on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to us now. So, in the Power of Music Thinking podcast, we have conversations with exciting people that are also musicians. They see analogies between music and the areas they're working. So, what they do is combine knowledge and skills from multiple fields to make significant contributions to various areas. In the Power of Music Thinking book, I call them the AND-muscian. I talk about this especially in the Backstage chapter, where we dive into analogies to switch from one field to the other, like black is to white, as off is to on, or conducting is to classical music, as producing is to hip-hop. But there's another expression for this, polymath. Think about people like Leonardo Da Vinci, Hildegard von Bingen, or any guest on this program. All of them are masters in different fields. So today, I speak with Barbara Kleeb, a trained photographer, a doctor of medicine, a leadership coach for a polymath, and musician. We speak about her personal journey, how studying multiple approaches leads to open-mindedness, and that every team or board should have at least one generalist to understand and connect different perspectives. And Barbara shares with us a tool she uses in her coaching practice, Ikigai. We also learn, for example, that most UX designers are polymath, which resonated with me a lot being in UX and service design positions in different companies. Okay, let's give it a go. Hello, Barbara. Welcome to the Power of Music Thinking.
Hi, Christoph. What a pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Thank you very much. And shall I say grüezi? Grüezi miteinander?
Miteinander, I'm alone, but yes, you can say grüezi.
So, yeah, you're in Switzerland, and I heard there's already snow, so it feels much more Christmas than here. And let's start with the first question, or let's say the ritual question that I ask every guest. What was your first sonic experience, or album, or performance, live performance that had an impact on you?
There were many things, but the ones that stung out was, for example, a record from that my father had. It's called Night in Tunisia. It's a jazz record, and I was really immersed in the drums, and it was like I was creating a picture from this experience.
Mm.
And the other one was I was singing. I knew a lot of Mozart by heart, so I sang with the Queen of the Night, and I found her very very sweet because she laughed so much. I think she had an evil character, but I didn't want to believe it because she had this laugh, and I loved to sing with it.
And Queen of the Night, you mean Magic Flute, Zauberflöte,
Yes.
Mozart. And Night in Tunisia is Dizzy Gillespie, right?
Yes.
So two different genres and two different times even.
And the first most impressive concert was the one of Queen, because I loved them.
And when was it?
Oh, ask me something. I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
I was a kid.
But was it in the beginning of their career, or was it when they're already?
No, it was not at the end, but it was not at the beginning.
Sounds interesting. But singing the Queen of the Night, so Königin der Nacht, that's quite special, isn't it? So did you sing live with the record, or how did this work?
Yes, I sang with the record. I found it normal. We sang a lot as a family, and I always invented a second voice.
Wow.
When we were singing, and I think that sparked my talent for improvisation and later songwriting.
If you know the famous Königin der Nacht, it's Koloratursopran, so meaning it's more sound than words, and a second voice to it. So that's I would love to hear.
Okay, not to this one. to other pieces, I made second voices.
All right. Okay.
But now you put me on a challenge. I have to listen to it. Whether that would be possible.
Right. And next time when you do this, you always can send a recording when you do the second voice to it.
I will send it to you if I do it.
Thank you very much. Barbara, tell us a little bit more about yourself, that we know what you do and what you do for a living.
So, as you might have already heard, I love to do many things as in music. The first profession I learned was photographer. Then I learned medicine, specialized in gynecology and obstetrics. And I have studied a lot of things there, from acupuncture to homeopathy and sex therapy, and many things that I cannot even tell you all of them, because when I've learned them, it's fine, it's a talent. And now I'm focusing on being a coach for polymaths, which are people like me who have so many interests and talents and need to get them together and have a very rich experience.
Nice. So I think the polymath part, let's do this maybe in a few minutes. But I would be interested, how do you come from a photographer to medical doctor? What's the story behind this?
When I was a photographer, I didn't think I was good enough at that time doing it, so that it would just flow and be enough fun. I think later I could have done it, but I needed to unblock some things to have access to whatever it takes to be actually a great photographer. Some colleagues of me had that special thing, and I think if you don't have it, it's just you stress and stress and stress.
Was it studio photography or outside?
Yeah, I was working with still life photographers, because if you learn it as an apprenticeship, you go to an advertisement photographer, and then you learn everything, how to make the light and make the arrangements. And it was great fun. I would not want to have missed it. It was really something that I absolutely wanted to do. And but I didn't think that I was so talented that I needed to be that.
But photography in that sense is also a craft. So you said you did the whole apprenticeship. What is it, 2 years or 3 years?
3 years. I could shorten it to 3 years. Normally it's 4.
Oh, wow. And I assume it's not digital, it's the real cameras? Right?
Yes, I was in the dark chambers, laying in the 4 or 5 inch plates of film into because we had those big cameras that they have a black, I don't know how it's called, like a part in between the front lens and the back, with it's folded. You know how they are called.
It's a mirror inside the camera, right?
Yeah, there is a mirror, but there's also this part between the front and the back with this black bulb, it's called in German. I don't know what the word in English is, but
Okay.
they were very big, and you can change the front and the back, so you could change the area of focus could be oblique instead of normally straight in a normal picture.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's very versatile. So
Yes.
then people can also understand from why an apprenticeship lasts 4 years compared to the camera that we buy today in the store or have in our pocket in the form of a smartphone.
Yes.
Just make click compared to a real craft. And were there any inspirations of photo-wise? Inspirational photographers in that time that you thought that would be, let's say, some kind of inspiration for you?
No, I was actually inspired doing stuff myself, creating stuff myself. I created like little animals with a brush and stuff like this, and I took that to the photographers, and then they liked that as well.
Interesting. Why I'm asking is also a little bit from the difference between a craft where you learn the instrument, and on the other hand, you look at pictures, which everybody can, either in a magazine or nowadays on the internet, and where you sometimes don't even know the story behind it. And there's a very nice quote from Robert Frank. You might know him, the photographer. And he said, "The eye should listen before it looks." And I found this very poetic. So instead of just always looking and trying to make a snapshot, it's more just try to sense the environment and then make that, maybe even with closed eyes, but that's what I'm making out of it. And is this something that resonates with you?
Good photography needs inner stillness and focus, because even if you take your photography just with your handy, it needs an inner stillness and a connection, because you cannot just look at the object. You have to look at the background and the relationship and what you take out of it, and how is the light and everything, and how will it be when it's actually on the picture. It's much easier now because you see it, but when I learned it, you didn't see what was on the picture.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting with, let's say, analog photography. So you have the scene, you know the story, you try to sense the scene, you make that shoot, and then it takes quite some time until you get it out and you see if it worked.
Yeah, what we did was we made Polaroid shots to test.
Right. So like a preview from how it would look like, or how it could look like, and then the real picture. Can you take us a little bit on your journey from photography to being a medical doctor?
I worked in many different hospitals, and right now I'm just working 1 day in a hospital and 2 days in a practice, and 2 days at home for the coaching that I mentioned.
But how was that part? How does this idea come up from making pictures, working as a photographer, and starting to change your mind into being a doctor?
There's no correlation. I just do what I want. I'm the connection.
Yeah. Is there a story, or is there?
No, I think that's how I was supported as a kid, that we should learn what we want. So when I found, photography, I'm not going to make it there, then and I had some other input to go to medicine. And then I always thought I have to finish what I started. So, for example, I knew that I wanted to be a photographer before I finished school. So I told myself to finish school and then do photography and then finish photography and then start medicine. So that I had all that I started finished, because I thought it takes me to a weird place if I start doing that. That would be detrimental for my life.
Wow. So after the 4 years photography, how many years did you study before you're doctor?
You study 6 years and you do at least 5 years in the hospital before you have your title.
Wow. And then you worked in hospitals how long?
Very long, until now.
Yeah. What's very long, so that the listeners have an idea?
Yeah, many years.
Yeah. So and when you're in the hospital and the doctor comes in, so they don't know your story, so it's just about it's about them. It's not about the story that you've been a photographer, that you were, let's say, inspired by your parents to just do what you want and develop what you want. Then you're in a different situation.
Yeah, but it helps to be who I am, especially when I see patients for consultation. Then sometimes this is a topic. I can help them in a much broader way than if I wouldn't have done all this.
And how does it work?
I know what to say. I know the right words. I know the right actions for her, or I can understand her better.
Yeah, because you have empathy or you have experience in another field.
Both.
It's a good way to first be a photographer, and then to be a doctor. Is this something that you would recommend to other people? First, do something before you try to start being a doctor. Is this?
I would never recommend anyone to be like me. I recommend everyone to be themselves and do what they sense they want to do, and then do it and enjoy it.
But when you work together with other people, did you sometimes feel that people that have an experience in other fields compared with people that might not have it, how do they work together?
If I spot another polymath, I'm very delighted, because it's something different. It's just the connection is just different, and there's just a bit better background, and we understand each other better.
And it's also working a team, right? Or how can you imagine working as a doctor? Can you tell
Yes.
more
It's
about this?
you're working as a team. You have your role in a team. I was a leading doctor. Now I went back a step to being Oberärztin, because I have a time limit, and then you have the ones in your degree, and you have the ones that you have to supervise, the ones that started after the studies, that are learning to be specialized, and I love to help them to become better doctors and better persons.
Okay, and there's also, because this is the Power of Music Thinking podcast, so there's also a musical side, and not only the inspiration, let's say the childhood inspiration or the first records. What's your link with music?
As I said, I had this musical upbringing with my family. I think we bonded as a family over music. My father he wasn't a professional singer. He was a teacher, but he sang in church for money. He studied it for quite a long time, and he recorded 2 CDs, and I also recorded 2 CDs. I just had this dream. So once I was bored as a doctor, because I can do everything I can do, and then I thought either I'm getting frustrated or I'm doing something else. And then I did a music course with young girls, where we had some theory lessons and, amongst others, songwriting. And then we could write a song, and I wrote the song that I made everybody sing with me on the final concert. And it stuck in everybody's head. And it was so much fun to do that. And then I made the connection to somebody who was afterwards my coach, because I haven't studied music, so I was happy that she could play the piano. I have been singing with a jazz, the best. I think she's the best jazz singer in Zurich, or maybe there's one or two better ones, but she's also
What's her name?
Marianne Racine.
Marianne Racine.
Marianne Racine. She's a
Marianne Racine.
Swedish, and she can actually, she can just capture the whole room. So when she has a concert, the whole room is with her. She's fantastic, and she taught me that. So, and yes, I took this course, and then I wrote my song. And then once I went to Cuba, and I found a guy who said he was a taxi driver and a salsa singer. And he said, I need to go to bring you to the airport a bit earlier because I need to go to the studio. And then the bell rang in my head, and I said, yeah. I just asked him everything I needed to know for a studio, and I took his number, and I started writing 10 songs. And after I've written them, I sent him an SMS. I have a dream to make a CD. And then he said, yeah, let's organize that.
That sounds very easy, writing 10 songs. It sounds like it was in a day, or how did this work? And how did you write the songs? Do the words come first, or how does it work?
Yes, the words come first. I think the first thing is to condensate the topic, either the emotion or something that disturbs me, so that it really pisses me off, for example. And then I have to just sit down and I can write down the lyrics, which is very easy because I have been writing poems as a kid as well. And then afterwards I can just, I took my phone and I sang in it, the melody, and then I looked whether I liked it or whether I liked it. And then I have an instrument that has chords on it. So I put the chords on it, and then I wrote down the chords like a jazz lead sheet. And then I took it to my coach, and she verified whether it's musically wrong or something like this, and made little corrections and made me less complicated in, I needed to comply a little bit to the normal structure so other people could follow my music. In the beginning it was too crazy. And then, I wrote my lead sheets like this. And then I took them to Cuba with a recording, piano and singing, and then we recorded.
And why Cuba?
Because the musicians are very skilled. They have 8 years until they have the basic study finished, and then they have 3 more years to make the concert diploma.
And the music sounds like Cuban music, or?
No. I have always I have 2 CDs. I did the first one I printed as a CD, and then CD came out of fashion, so the other one is just in my head a CD, but it's 16 songs, and in each CD one of the songs has a cha-cha-cha or something Cuban, because they said we have to put a Cuban stamp on your album, Barbara.
Right. Otherwise, why would you go to Cuba to record? Nice. So you mentioned in the beginning a word, polymath. Maybe that's something that not everybody knows. Can we do the switch to the polymath? And I realized when we did our pre-talk, it's not a word that I use daily, but I think I should, because actually, when I have conversations on the power of music thinking, I always ask people, or I always look for people that do something special, like a doctor or photographer and a musician. And There are many examples like Albert Einstein, that when he was working on something very complicated, or that's what I assume, then there's the story that he would come out of the room, play 1 hour piano or the violin, and would go back and just go into another area and get the inspiration. Or Bill Clinton, the president, we know that he's a saxophone player, and there's a famous picture where he's playing saxophone for the Russian president many years ago. And that's also interesting, like from, wow, how would this work together if Biden and Putin would meet and they would just make music? So where I want to segue into the polymath, where you are working in 1 or 2 or more areas, but that's your profession, or that's what you're doing now. So please tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I was starting to be a coach. I mean, I started many years ago as a doctor. You have also some coaching work that you're doing. And then I started to name myself coach, and I started to look for who would I be delighted to work for. And then first I had some empaths, but then I thought it has to be somebody like me. And then I have been called polymath when I was singing for somebody who knew that I was also a doctor and a business consultant in PwC and and other things. And then he said, "Oh, this is more than a hobby, this song. I think you're a polymath." And then I didn't know what he was, so I looked it up. So polymaths comes from many learnings, and it actually means that you've learned a lot. So the key value is curiosity. So it's the key driver, I could say.
So that's also the story from photography to medicine to music. Yeah. So that explains a lot. I did a little bit of research. There's a book, The Polymath, from Vakas Ahmed. He's talking about the study a study with children. Before doing an IQ test, they had drum lessons. And the kids that did the drum lessons scored higher on the IQ test than the kids that didn't have a drum lesson. So to also make the case for that it helps if we understand different areas, that this will be better. Is this something that you're also working on when you're in your coaching practice?
Yeah, I think those people are mostly really brilliant because they've done so many things.
So you don't, but in what way are you coaching them? You don't make them the polymath. They already
are. Yes.
Do they know this word, or they just say, "Oh, I'm a generalist. I work in different fields," or how do they come?
Yeah, they know it because I've met them on LinkedIn, and then we had a conversation mostly, and then they're on my email list, and then they get to know it, and they see my posts, so they know it.
And what do you post?
Anything about how a polymath is that I take from myself, from people I observe, and then I mix it together. And it's a creative way of writing about polymaths into that they find a resonance with.
So I can imagine if people listen now to us, that they think, "Oh, polymath, oh, that's interesting. I'm also doing different things." So when would you call people, when would you call them generalist or polymath?
If they have been really dedicated to several topics and not just have one thing as a profession and another as a hobby. And then they have what I found out by working with them, they have a different way of thinking. polymaths can take different perspectives and they can hold them in their head at the same time. And they're interested in synthesis as well as analysis. So they don't just go down the rabbit hole immediately. And sometimes they do, but often they just also take what they know from their other different fields and they're making connections. And so they can know stuff that nobody else knows because they have combined different fields.
And what's the part of your coaching?
The part of my coaching is whatever somebody wants. I mean, if somebody wants really the coaching, which is focusing them on it's like focusing their thinking and making their thinking more, speeding up their potential, like their thinking. I can do that. And sometimes there's some trauma stuff that they have to overcome to be happy. And yeah, there's different topics. Burnout I have had, and building the inside connection, and focusing, not losing the focus, and finding what's really where to focus on, because there are so many interests, and also overcoming shame.
Oh, shame. Interesting. Why shame?
A lot of people have shame even if they don't know it. Maybe they're avoiding shame.
Okay. Can you tell us more without getting into details of too personally? But that's interesting. And I'm also triggered a little bit by it sounds like a polymath. Let's say the universal genius. So like Da Vinci or Hildegard von Bingen, or different ways where I think, oh, that's very cool. But it sounds, or at least that's what I hear. What you say is that they would sometimes need the focus and not just be a polymath and knowing everything and seeing all connections. Is this something? And where does the shame come in?
This is, I think the shame is more a human emotion, but polymaths are of course human. A lot of okay, no, I shouldn't go that route because we're on the shame. I think people of shame, they cannot use their whole potential. They do stuff like a lot of people are avoiding shame, like they're overachieving, or they're hiding themselves, or they're too friendly, or stuff like this. And then when they overcome this shame, they can go to their free, authentic self and fulfill their potential much better. And it has a deep impact.
Well, how long does it take, or is there a journey? Is there a roadmap from understanding and getting in contact with you until that they have the idea from, oh wow, now I see it, or now I sense it, or now I know, or maybe they knew it before, but they don't know how to do the focus?
I would say it makes sense to work together at least 3 months. I'm very fast in what I'm doing, but I've done free stuff for just once, and then people were developing in a not nice direction. So I want to collaborate more than just a one-off session. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah, so there are no tricks like, oh, you should do this and thank you very much.
Yeah, it does need deep understanding to do that.
Can you share with us something that you could do, or that would help a polymath to focus more? Maybe
yes.
that people that listening to us now could benefit from?
Yes, what I'm sometimes using when people want to show to find their area of focus, is I use the Ikigai, which is a Venn diagram with 4 circles that you can find in the internet, and then just
Ikigai is these 4 questions like,
yes,
are you
things you
good
love,
at?
things the world needs, what is it, people pay for, and you're good at. So
Yeah.
you have those 4 questions, and then how I broke it down for a webinar lately, which was people were kind of delighted because they've never broken it down for themselves, and then it doesn't work. I made a little symbol for everything, like a heart for love and kind of a pile of money for money. And then you can just take 5 minutes, focus on all the stuff you like to do or you would like to develop, and then after that you take the time to add the symbol, all the 4 symbols, and then you see the objects that have all the 4 symbols. They are then the stuff that are your Ikigai, which is moving your heart or your life or however you see that.
Would this mean that people are good at something, but they can't get money for it, for example?
Yes, the breadless artist.
Yeah, right. And how does this connect with a polymath? For a polymath, I would say, well, come on, you're good in so many fields, and you have the knowledge and the skill, and in multiple areas. And if you just combine this, that's the gold.
Yeah, but maybe a lot of polymaths are really enthusiastic in making the world a better place, but that doesn't give them payday. And without payday, they don't have the money to survive to make the world a better place. So it's actually important to combine those 4 areas.
And that's a good point, because when I, let's say, go on LinkedIn and look for new jobs, I never see a job like, oh, we need a generalist or a polymath, someone that knows or has experience in different fields, and at least in 3, and we would love to have them in 7 fields. What I see is just an expert with a track record of many, many years, and also with the foresight for the next maybe 5 years. So that's what I mostly read.
Yeah, and this is really frustrating for polymaths. That's important. But there are areas where they need polymaths. For example, in UX design, where you need to user experience design, where you need to have the user's focus as well as the focus of a computer program, and to adapt it so that it makes sense for a user to use a computer program better. There are many polymaths there.
And the whole UX or user experience also goes into customer experience or employee experience. So where people are involved, people have to do something. It helps to see their journey, or their journey from different perspectives, so that we feel the human in their holy thing, what humans are.
And I would encourage every business to have at least 1 polymath at their board, because business is organized in silos, and people cannot communicate with each other between the silos and also between the levels of hierarchy. And the polymath is the one who can actually connect it all together and find the truth and find where are the black holes in a business and stuff.
Would this mean the polymath would be the CEO, or does
that would be, if the CEO is a polymath, that would be great. Then he already has his role, but he could also be an advisor in a board. He could be an architect or something like this, but he should be connected to the C-suite.
So actually, the people that we would address, I'm just thinking out loud, would be people from HR to help others especially the business, to understand when there's a polymath or someone that has extraordinary knowledge and skills from different areas or fields, and that they try to encourage them also to join the team. And which is sometimes, I can imagine, a little bit different, because when we're talking about KPIs, key performance indicators, so how can you perform as a polymath or as a generalist when everything is organized in silos?
How can the silos be organized and actually make the business profitable without having many suboptimal solutions that are lost in the space because just one silo doesn't talk to the other silo? I think consultants might be polymaths if they're really not just looking for their consultancy to bring in more consultants, but actually to help the business.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. For me, it's very open, because what I call the framework, or the music thinking framework, actually is the base is the connection, and that's why I stress so much in music thinking that, yeah, I would say just hire a music thinker or someone who's doing music and other things, because they will always understand that it needs more than just one dimension to make something great. Maybe a last question from my side. When we talk about polymath, or let's say these universal geniuses, most of them are men. And I just assume that maybe women are much better polymath because they're already trained, especially when they are connected with kids and in the family. But from your practice, is this what's your take about this?
I mean, I think it's equal, or I don't know. I don't think there's a gender preference in my group that I've assembled so far. There are more men, but that's a historical how I built it in my profile, with whom I connected and stuff like this. So that's because of that. But I love women as well. But I wanted to focus a little bit on men because I'm already a gynecologist, and I wanted to take another perspective and know the other gender as well, so that I'm not spending my whole life just focusing on women.
Yeah. And maybe nowadays we only don't think in women or men, but in all the variations.
Yes.
And maybe that's also a very good opening to not think in this dichotomy or this one or the other, but just trying to understand that person, and if this person is connected with a lot of things. But I just bring it up because when I thought about, do I know polymath, I only the only women that I could came up with is Hildegard von Bingen, where we know that she was, let's say, an universal genius, and all the others are men. So I thought maybe this is maybe a man perspective, and there are many more women.
There are interesting women. Hedy Lamarr, she was the most beautiful woman in the world, and she just has this polymathic thinking, and she was an inventor. She invented the base of what we have now, Wi-Fi and everything, because she wanted to help the army to win against the Nazi Germany. Who else? Yeah, there are loads of women. I'm sometimes bad remembering names.
But just leave it like this. So just make it very open. So if you're, if you're combining different areas, and maybe just think about polymath. So it's doesn't matter in what direction you're heading. So Barbara, thank you very much for sharing your all your insights. Is there something that you would like to add that we didn't touch?
Yeah, I think polymaths, if they're balanced and don't have psychological damage or something like this, they're very happy persons. and they have a great radiance and can inspire other people.
So, Barbara, thank you very much.
Thank you as well, Christoph.
Thanks for all your insights.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate this, because listening is one of the top leadership skills, and I feel honored about this. It is my mission to find, create, and share inspirations for meaningful collaboration based on music analogies. If you want to support this, please subscribe to the podcast, give us a rating, or write a review on iTunes or Spotify. And more inspirations can be found on musicthinking.com. We have a blog, and you can download the Music Thinking Framework. And finally, I would love to hear your feedback. And if you need help with a business challenge, please reach out to me via email, podcast@musicthinking.com.